I am Stephanie Smith, back with you guys today to talk about mindset, the fixed versus growth mindset, and how that affects our attitude. Today, I'd like to talk to you guys about 3 ways that you can help a student even being yourself, develop a growth mindset. So recent evidence has shown that we should consider one's belief about intelligence to understand why some people are more motivated than others. So yes, as I've been talking about all week, it's back to our beliefs. It's back to our identity. A student with a growth mindset believes that intelligence can be developed. Hence, they find school exciting because it's an opportunity for them to grow. However, a student with a fixed mindset believes that intelligence is a fixed trait and that school is just about judgment and performance. And they also feel that they're not smart if something is hard, and they'll often quit when they fail. So over time, obviously, students with growth mindsets tend to outperform those with a fixed mindset. That's pretty obvious, right? So here's my message to you guys today is students are born with certain mindsets. Or students are not born with certain mindsets. They develop these based on the messages that they receive from their environment. The good news, however, is that they can be shifted, and when they do, the student typically sees improvement. So guys, my message to you today is that it's not only what we say to our inner voice, as I've been talking, or what our inner voice is saying to our self and to our being, that is important. It's what we say externally with our voice, either to others or how we talk to others, because that's not only feeding our inner voice, but it's feeding theirs as well. And so it's very important that we recognize that our external and our internal voice is all things that are feeding our mindset. So here are 3 ways that you can help the student being yourself as well, that you can help the student develop a growth mindset and embrace the awesome power that we have learned this week that each one of us have. So way number 1, the first way that that we can help teach a student to get a growth mindset is to teach them the truth about the brain. Now, I don't mean go all in, right, and figure out the brain, because those of us ourselves, we don't understand it either. But what I mean about teaching them about the brain is that it can be rewired through learning. So for example, all they need to know, and all we need to know, is that the brain is made up of neurons, right, and that are connected. Sometimes the connection is weak, sometimes the connection is strong. But if we work on and we practice and we work on that connection, right, that's how we become smarter, right? So when we work on our brain, when we learn, we work on our brain and we learn, we have the ability to make it stronger. Just like a dancer becomes stronger when they practice. Just like a swimmer becomes stronger when they practice. Just like someone loses weight and becomes stronger and more healthy when they exercise and watch what they're eating, right? It's all a process. Learning is a process, right? And when we focus on understanding that our brain just has these neurons that they're like a muscle, right? They're like a muscle, and when we practice with that muscle, it becomes stronger. So teach them that about the brain, and when they understand that it's not something that's just set in stone, it's not something that they're born with, then they can understand that they can practice, they can work on it, and they do have hope it can become better. Way number 2 is praise the process, not the person. How many times do we say to either ourselves or to people that we know, you're so smart, right? You're so smart when they do something good, right? When we do that, right, that's great. When we start doing that, we want to give them positive feedback, right? But think about it like this. If you tell them, oh, that's great, you're smart. Think about down the road when that person then struggles and they don't do something very well, and they say, well, you know, and especially kids, right? Kids, us adults have the ability to decipher in conversation and put things into context a little bit easier than kids do. But think about if you're always telling your kid you're so smart, and you're telling everybody they're so smart in front of them, right? They get that feeling, right? Because that's that external voice that we're feeding to them, that they're so smart. But guess what happens the next time they hit a struggle and they have trouble, right? They're going to say, well, I'm supposed to be smart. I can't figure this out. I must be dumb. I'm not going to try this because I must be dumb. So so turn it around and praise their process, right? So focus on the process, the actions that they did to be successful at whatever they achieved. Don't just say to them, you're so smart, right? That's the lazy way that we praise. Praise them for the actions that they did to accomplish whatever it was that they accomplished, right? So when we say specifically to them, you did a good job at this. See, when you did this particular thing, this is what happened, right? When we point out their actions within the process, right? When we point out their actions in the process, then they can start to make connections of how that action is something good that they need to do and they need to repeat it, right? We're giving them more specific praise, but it's more specific praise to acknowledge to them that is, that should be recognized and that should be repeated, right? So praise the process, not the person. The third and final one is celebrate mistakes. Celebrate their mistakes. Students learn the most when they do challenging work, they make mistakes, and they learn from them. This is true, right, with students and with adults, right? When we learn from our mistakes, and when we learn from our mistakes, right, we don't forget them, right? However, most students, most people in general, they tend to think that making a mistake is one of the worst things that they can do. And so as a supporter of a student, whether that's you supporting yourself, you supporting people within your family, your children, you supporting your students, if you in fact are a teacher, right? Show them how you value their learning process over getting the right answer. What effort did they do? What actions did they take to try to get the right answer, regardless of whether they got the right answer or not? Right? How many times have you guys taken a test where the student or the teacher has given you partial credit because you've shown your work and you've went through the thought process, but you got the wrong final answer? Right? That's a teacher allowing you or showing you the value in your actions of what you did, right? Because you still thought through it, although you didn't get total credit for the final answer, right? Those are the best kind, right? Those are the teachers that are all in, that are well vested, right? So it is not necessary, right? When I say celebrate the mistakes, right? It's not necessarily when you're correct, if you try to point them in the right direction, to give them step-by-step instructions. Guide them by asking them questions, encourage them to use other strategies, give them suggestions, right? But celebrating the mistakes and showing them how using the process to get there, and asking them questions, giving them suggestions, right, is going to help them learn from that mistake, right? They're going to know not to do it again, but because of your guiding questions and because of your encouragement, right, you're going to allow them to give them the room to start using different tools and different strategies. So guys, these 3 strategies can help a student focus on learning and development rather than performance and judgment. And if you combine this with the right environment structure, this can make school learning a more exciting place for students, where students are engaged, they're challenged, and they're continuously growing. So I hope that this brought awareness to you as a supporter of a student, whether that be someone you know or even yourself. And feel free to share this with those that would benefit. And also, remember, jump over to my YouTube channel where you're going to see all these videos wrapped up in one. And for those that you know that are not on Periscope, that are not on Facebook, where I'm currently broadcasting every day, send them over to my YouTube channel where they can get the same value that I hope you're getting.